Hello my gorgeous makeup loving friends, I hope you are having a fantastic day and a great start to your weekend. My name is Teresa and I love all things makeup, beauty and skincare. So on the weekends I like to hang out with you guys to talk about the newest releases in that entire genre. I do have to say, very sorry for not being around last week. It hurt me more than it hurt you. I was quite unwell. I had lost my voice and I can still feel, I think it was like a slight chest infection or something, but I can still feel there's something there. Anyways, I'm fine now because I need to get back into a routine or I will lose my mind. You guys know though, there's like a million, okay, maybe that's a slight exaggeration, but there are a lot of makeup releases within the week. So to try to kind of condense it down ever so slightly, I look to you guys so that we're talking about the stuff that's actually interesting to us. So a massive thank you to everyone who tagged me in content. I so appreciate it. As always, your names are being displayed right now just to show my general appreciation. A huge thank you also to my YouTube community members. I'm also going to have a little hangout with you guys tomorrow, like a little live, so keep a little eye out for that. So your names are being displayed right now. Massive thank you as always to you guys. It's always weird when I go like a week without, I'm like, how do I do this again? I've kind of forgotten. Ooh, very strange. But we do know I have to remind you to hydrate because that feels like a slight responsibility. I have a lovely Winnie the Pooh mug. Eeyore is obviously my jam. And probably a little bit of Piglet because I do have that little bit of anxiety there. But do remember to hydrate, get some snacks because I have essentially 2 weeks worth of stuff to talk about. So let's just get straight on into it. The first one that we're talking about is sort of something I had talked about 2 weeks ago, but at the time that I talked about it, it was a leak. And you know I'm talking about Natasha Denona. It hadn't been officially launched, but since then it has been launched, etc. This is the Bloom palette. It's basically meant to go along with all of the other Bloom items that she's had in her collection for a while. This is €81. Is it just me or has her stuff increased in price? I'm a terrible affiliate. I'm sitting there being like, oh my god, it's crazy. Yes, you can use my code to get 15% off, but actually cheaper on Cult Beauty. It's €72 over on Cult Beauty, but I don't think any codes work over there. Anyways, this is a warm hued assortment of all new shades in Natasha's iconic pro level and user friendly formulas. So there's 6 buttery creamy mattes, 2 ultra blendable silky mattes, 2 high shine metallics and 5 dazzling sparkling foil shades including Equinox, a groundbreaking peach toned duochrome with a mesmerizing turquoise blue shift and a truly unique shimmering finish. You guys know I absolutely love Natasha Denona. I'm an affiliate for a reason. I enjoy her stuff, but I have felt over the last while her stuff is getting a little bit repetitive, and even though I have a terrible completionist mindset and I've really been trying to kind of intervene on that with myself, I think this is what I'm going to miss. I don't think this is necessary. Do I think I could necessarily dupe her existing collection with this? I don't think so, not really, but I mean she's had a couple of warm toned neutral palettes. I'd like to see something a little bit different. I also feel that given the fact that this is a very expensive brand, to come out with as many launches as she does, it just seems, I don't know, to me just a little bit unnecessary. Now I personally love the formula of Natasha Denona. Like I said, it's kind of my go-to. I really enjoy her stuff, but this color story just doesn't really appeal to me. I know she's saying these are all new tones, but I mean there's shades in here that I feel like if I went through, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name, the purple palette, I could probably get a shade that's very close to Clover if I went through the I Need a Warm, if I went through the I Need a Nude, the Glam. Insert several palette names here. I think I could get something quite similar. Again, I'm not saying like an exact dupe. It feels a little bit redundant at this point to have this, and the price point of €81, like I said, it feels like she's been increasing the prices, and I get, look, everything is increasing everywhere forever and always, effing inflation and all of that, but there comes a point where you do have to just think, is that really worth it? Now if it was a really interesting color story, I'd be like, yeah, totally fine. This, I feel like it isn't. Do I think I'd get decent use out of this if I had it? Yeah, I probably would. But that's not a decent enough justification for me to go off and get this. And as I said, I'm a big Natasha Denona stan. Like, I love her stuff. But I feel like I could go through some of these and get similar looks. Like even looking at some of the swatches, Some of those shades even look like they're kind of similar to each other. Do you know what I mean? Like the shades Rue and Ember look kind of similar. Not wildly similar, but similar enough. That could have been edited down, maybe made into like a 9-pan palette. I don't know if we necessarily needed to have a 15-pan palette on this. And I know she's saying like, oh, Equinox is new as a duochrome. Yeah, new to her. But if you've been in the makeup game for a while, I guarantee if you've any duochromes, you have something very similar to this, because several brands have done something like this. And again, you may not have the exact same formula, it may not have the same feel to it, but if you're just looking for the color, you could probably get it elsewhere. This just feels strange to me, you know? And I get that a lot of what's happening with Natasha Denona these days is that she's being informed essentially by Sephora to go the safe route, more kind of neutral tones. And there's nothing wrong with neutral tones, okay? Some neutral tones can be done absolutely beautifully, but I think when you're as expensive as you are, try and kind of come up with something a bit different. This feels kind of dated, and that's probably because she's pulling it from the Bloom collection, and the Bloom collection is about maybe 4 or 5 years old. Like it's a 4-pan blush and highlight palette, and there's a couple of like liquid blushes etc that goes along with it. So I'm kind of like, this feels very disparate and a little bit unnecessary. I feel like this probably, and feel free to disagree with me, that's the whole point over here, would have functioned a lot better as a 5-pan palette than as a 15-pan. I think it would have made more sense with the collection of Bloom overall than bringing in a 15-pan. And I'm still stuck on the €81 price tag over on her own website. That's what she's putting down on her website, whereas on Cult Beauty you get it for €72. And again, I know you can use codes like mine or whatever for 15% off. So that'll bring it down to like, what, you get €12 off of it. But at the end of the day, it's not a massive thing. Like, it does feel like she's inflated the prices a little bit over on her own website. And I will also say, I just feel like their shipping is terrible. Like, it's so slow. Like, I'm waiting a million years for stuff. So I've kind of stopped ordering off of her website, just because I don't like, I'm a terrible affiliate. But I just can't be bothered. I don't lie. I can't be bothered with lying. It just seems too much work to me. I'm honestly kind of disappointed, right? I expect a lot from Natasha, and I'm sure the formulas are fantastic. I'm sure it blends like a dream, etc. But this colour story is not it. It's dated. It's one of those ones that, like, if it was in my collection, I'd probably use it, but I'm not going to go off and get it. Not at €81. If this was half the price, yeah, I probably would. I'd do a effort. It's part of my collection, but as I said, I'm making concerted efforts to not do that. Just all in all, a little bit disappointing, and I'm kind of getting why she had to leak this to generate any sort of interest, because if I saw this on the website, I would just assume it was stuff that we'd seen before. Do you know what I mean? Like, it feels repetitive, it feels a little bit recycled. And the fact that she's had to say all new shades, as like, girl, you're having to say that because you know yourself that when looking at it, it looks like it's repeating your own stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't have to say that unless you knew that it felt done, is all I'm saying. Anyways, rather strangely for me, I think I'm going to give this one a miss, which is odd for me because I love Natasha Denona, but this is just not one for me. This next one though, oh my god, I'm genuinely excited by this. This is Cheeryep, which also goes by the name of Qianyan. It's a 16 colour natural star eyeshadow palette. It comes in the shade number 14, which is flipped. Now you can get it over on C Beauty Mall for €30.95. You can use my code for like 5% off, but it's a little bit cheaper over on Look Healthy store. It's €29.74. So this palette has 16 shades. It includes mattes, shimmers, satins and metallics, and this is so beautiful. Look at those soft pastels. I'm kind of loving how much pastels we've seen of late. Like, have we had a lot of them? Yes. But there was a point in time where it was so hard to get a good pastel. Everyone used to talk about the Sigma creme palette, creme de la creme palette. I never got that at the time, and I still kind of feel a bit sad because it feels like makeup history that I missed out on, which is a bit silly, but there you go. But the fact that we now have so many options when it comes to pastels is just fabulous. So we're talking about essentially €30, give or take, depending upon the site that you're on, for 16 shades. That is not bad. Now, I actually have several Cheeryep palettes that I've got, and the quality is so good. The mattes are so creamy, so buttery, so delicious. There's a real nice emollientness to that, and even those shimmers look really, really beautiful. They function as like toppers, but also potentially highlighters if you're interested. I love the look of a pastel palette. Now, a lot of people would potentially use this as like an add-on palette to blend out deeper shades, etc. I personally feel like you could use this as a standalone palette. It's so fresh, it's so pretty. I love that they're presenting it with like cake and lemons and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, this is making me feel like it's dessert. That little wash of colour, it's so gentle, it's so pretty. I will also say what I've tried of Cheeryep has always surprised me in the sense that it is so pigmented for the colours that you're talking about. Like even that pale yellow, look at the way that that is swatching. That's bananas. Like that's a really good level of pigment there, and even that minty green is showing up really, really nicely. Do I think I need this? No, I don't. I have a lot of palettes, but in my mind I'm like, this would also pair beautifully with things that I already have, which by the way is a ridiculous justification. I feel like there's a nice mixture though here when we're looking at mattes versus shimmers, and it's almost like they've grouped it into little colour stories, which I really appreciate. That's just aesthetically so pleasing to me. And I know I give out about like pan sizes etc not being the same or uniform across. That does slightly bother me here, slightly, but you know what, it's part of their brand, so I'm not going to give out to them for it. This is just super cute. Super cute, really like it. I like their formulation. I feel like that price tag of €30 is on the money. It's damn good. I'll also say sometimes you can get their stuff on AliExpress, because AliExpress is also a verified distributor of them. So when in doubt, go and check them out, because sometimes you can get it a smidgen cheaper. Now you're going to have to wait a little bit longer for it to be distributed out to you. But if you're cool with that, that might be the way to get it. I genuinely think, and I've said this several times, C Beauty, K Beauty, anything in that realm just seems to be kind of decades ahead of the rest of us. Like the formulations, you can see even there on those swatches, the pigmentation is incredible. With pastels, you'll normally see a dryness, sort of like a chalkiness. It's kind of what happens. But in those swatches, they don't look chalky, which makes me want to get my little mitts on them and go, is that actually true? I want to see. I want to see what the story is. This is beautiful, but it also makes me want to have macarons. You know, like I want to have a fancy little desserty lunch, you know, like a high tea. This is making me think of that. It's also making me think of Easter, which is kind of perfect. Love this. Price point. Perfect. No notes. Keep going, Cheeryep. I'm happy with you. I'm still waiting on my Freya palette, but that was a pre-order. But like I said, anything I've gotten from them to date, I've really enjoyed. And who would have seen this coming? Pat McGrath have collaborated with Candy Crush. This feels so strange and so dated. Maybe like if this came out 5 years ago, it would have made sense, but because Candy Crush was like such a big thing. Do people still play Candy Crush? Is that a thing? I don't know. I kind of cycle in and out of these things. Anyways, it's a small enough collection, but it's expensive. There's 2 matte trans lipsticks. They're €38 each. They come in the shades Elson, which is a red, and Divine Rose, which I think is an existing shade. You can get the 2 of them together if you're interested. Unfiltered for €66, so that saves you €10. There's Lust Glosses, they're €28 each. They come in the shades Astral, Flash Dance, which is the more purple one, and Bronze Venus, which again I think is an existing one. You can pair them together for €48, which will save you €8. And this is the weird one for me because I don't think they've ever done nail polishes before, but they have 2 shades of nail polishes. They're €31 each. That is wildly expensive. They come in the shades Elson and Gold 001, so if you do want to pair them together and get a duo, that's €48. So you'll save about €14 if you do want to have that gaudy gold shade in there. But if you went, Teresa, I want every single piece of that. Well, firstly, get some therapy. Secondly, the price tag is €168. So do you know what? Do what you want to do, etc. The thing that kind of bugs me is I was over on Pat McGrath and they have like these sweepstakes on some of these things where you can win your order, but then you can also win like diamond rings and so like this jewelry and stuff with it. And that, and I don't want to say it irks me, but it gives me a little bit of a, because people might be pushed to buy something that they wouldn't buy otherwise with the hope that they might win something that is wildly valuable. I think one of the rings was like worth 1,000 or 10,000. I'm missing a zero. It's either 1,000 or 10,000. But that just feels a little bit manipulative to me. I know that's a whole sales tactic, but like we're not talking about cheap items here. So like people are potentially going off and buying stuff that they may not need. And like I said, some of this I think is existing shades. I'm 99.9% certain that Divine Rose, the matte trans lipstick, and Bronze Venus, the Lust Gloss, already exists. And they've just put that terrible stripy packaging on it, which, can I just say, day to day I'm going to talk about the lipsticks first. That shade of red, Elson, absolutely stunning. It's that gorgeous blue toned red that I personally really love. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my god, it's gross. I actually really like that. I do. I genuinely like that. Don't like the packaging. Do I want to pay €38 for a nice blue toned red? Not really. I mean, I love the shade. If this was, again, maybe €18 off, no, I'll be a bit more reasonable. If this was like €13 off, then I'd genuinely consider it. Like, I'd be like, okay, you know what? I don't need it, but I'll go and get it because I'm a silly goose. Because it does look beautiful, like even on the lips, it looks stunning. Then the more Divine Rose one, again, that's very safe. We've seen that a couple of times. I do think it's very pretty. It's very nice. I feel like it would look nice on me. It just doesn't kind of, you know, like wildly appeal to me. I'm a bit confused as to why both lipsticks say Divine. Like the red one is called Elson and the pinkier one is called Divine Rose. So why not have the red one be Elson? Where does the word Elson come from? I'm not very familiar with Candy Crush. Is that like a Candy Crush reference? Wildly confusing to me, but that red lipstick is stunning. Then in terms of the lip glosses, the purple one is way more interesting. That kind of Bronze Venus one, it's fine and I'm sure it's very wearable, very everyday. Probably the one that you get more use out of, so probably makes a little bit more sense to put money into that. But the purpley one is like, oh, excuse me, I don't hate you. I mean, look at it on the lips. That's absolutely stunning. I mean, I know that they've obviously manipulated the lighting, etc., to get that level of glitter and whatever, but that is so beautiful. In my mind, I'm just thinking of that like having a black lip liner underneath and then just putting that all over. It's so gorgeous. I will say, yes, it's a little bit pricey. They're €28 each, but I have spent more on a gloss. And yes, I do judge myself harshly for that. Sometimes I lie awake at night and think, Teresa, you should not be allowed a debit card. And frankly, that is correct. But it does look really pretty. Like I said, that more Bronze Venus, it looks gorgeous. It's more of an everyday one. I mean, with a little bit of glitter, which I don't hate. I think glitter should be incorporated into our everyday lives, quite frankly. And this one is really pretty. What's quite interesting about this is that obviously once it gets onto the lips, there's more of like a berry sort of an undertone to it. So it isn't as bronzy as they make it out to be. It's very pretty. If I'm 100% honest, I think that they could have gone without the pinky toned lipstick and they could have just had the red toned lipstick and these 2 lip glosses and they'd have been solid. The bit that I'm confused about is the nail polishes. To the best of my knowledge, and I could be completely wrong, so bear with me, but to the best of my knowledge, I can't recall any recent things of them doing nail polishes, so this feels very different for them. And €31 each. That's wild to me. And I'm gonna say it looks cheap. It looks tacky. Meh. Don't like it. I haven't done my nails nails in ages. I'm very bad. Sometimes I'll like hyperfixate and do them for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then I totally fall off the bandwagon and don't do it for months. That's just how my brain works. I think the gold shade looks gross. And if you disagree with me, that's totally fine. You know, that's kind of the whole point. We can sit here, we can disagree with each other. There's just something about it that just doesn't look right to me. Like, it looks gaudy and a bit cheap, which is ironic considering it's quite expensive. Overall, if you had asked me at the beginning of the year, who do I think that Pat McGrath is going to collaborate with, I would not have said Candy Crush. Not in a million years. And I do think it's quite funny that Pat McGrath herself is now going to be working with Louis Vuitton on their makeup line. Fascinating to me, because I believe Pat McGrath isn't involved in Pat McGrath Labs anymore, which very, very interesting. But this whole collaboration, so strange. But mind you, some of their collaborations don't make sense. They go Bridgerton, Star Wars, and now Candy Crush. I don't get it. Are the people who buy Pat McGrath really into Candy Crush? Like, I'm so interested in finding out how they're doing their marketing research to determine the viability of these collaborations. And now granted, I haven't played Candy Crush in a million years, but there's nothing about these that's making me go, yeah, Candy Crush. I don't get it. And maybe I'm not meant to get it, and that's okay. Then we have Blair Dale MUA Cosmetics. This is a new brand from Canada, and they've brought out some little lip oils, and I thought this was fun to talk about. This is their first ever lip product. They're available in 3 flavors, strawberry, mint, and watermelon. They're available right now if you do want to get them. They're 18 Canadian dollars, which translates as at about 13 US dollars each. So very, very inexpensive. They look really pretty. Like, I'm not going to talk about them for any major amount of time, but this is a newer brand, and the fact that they're coming out with lip oils kind of at the beginning rather than say something like an eyeshadow palette, which tends to be what people tend to do with a new brand, because a palette will generate a lot of kind of immediate income, whereas a lip oil, that won't give you a huge amount of immediate income, but they're the things that people tend to repurchase. So actually quite smart for them to come out with this. I think the packaging is really nice. It looks really pretty for the price point. You know, they've done this quite well. I'll be really interested to see what the story is here and how this actually evolves as a brand over time. But that's a smart little launch. And the fact that they're flavoured, delicious. I wish, however, that they had shown these on the lips just to get a little bit more information. What's the story with the ingredients? Now, I know I could potentially look that up myself, but I'm lazy. I'm very tired, and I'm still, you can probably hear it in my voice, I'm still a little bit sick, so I'm struggling a bit. But I think this is a good one. You're talking about something that's quite inexpensive. You can go off, you can find out if the ingredients that are in it are going to vibe with you. I think this is fun. I don't hate this as an initial launch from a little baby brand. So kudos, and always fun to see a brand from Canada, because there's not that many Canadian brands. So I like seeing some new things coming from there, because let's be real, the current climate with tariffs, etc. It's going to be harder to buy from US brands, is all I can say. So if there's some interesting stuff coming from Canada, yeah, it's going to be getting my attention. I love that this is a mattifying setting spray that has glitter in it. The juxtaposition of mattifying and glitter is just so funny to me. What annoys me is that this is limited edition. So in case you haven't heard, this is the one size, which is of course by Patrick Ta. It's their Until Dawn mattifying waterproof setting spray that has glitter in it, and it looks so much fun. It's a 16-hour waterproof matte finish in a transfer-proof formula with green tea extract and oil-absorbing witch hazel. So it's going to be absolutely fantastic for people who have oilier skin. Now, obviously, that's not me. I have very dry skin. Let's kind of get past that. So the green tea extract helps to tighten pores, and the witch hazel, again, absorbs oil for a blurred matte sort of a finish. It's available right now on their website. It's $36. Now, if you do go over to one size, they have a limit of 3 per order, and it's because because it's limited edition. But this is so much fun. They're obviously showing like you can use that for the face, for the body. They're saying put it on your clothes, put it in your hair, have a glittery fun time. And you know what? I love this. I think this is so much fun. This is what makeup is meant to be. Just fucking enjoy yourself. My God, bring a bit of joy into your life. This is so wonderfully excessive and unnecessary, but in the best way. Like, this just makes me think of my youth, because I grew up in the 90s, and I remember like the glitter gels and glitter hairsprays and stuff, and this is bringing a little bit of nostalgia to me. I think this is absolutely fantastic. I do think he's made a massive mistake in making it limited edition though, because this is fun. This is fun. This is joyous. I can kind of see where this might have come out of Wicked, because One Size has done a lot of collaborations with Wicked, etc. Oh my God, like I absolutely love this. Now obviously they've got all of their, you know, stats around this of like 100% agree that it's perfect for adding an iridescent veil to makeup and prevents makeup from transferring, etc. Like, that's great, delighted. But glitter, 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 glitter. Like, they're taking their existing, very well beloved setting spray, because this mattifying setting spray, a lot of people absolutely jam with it. They love it. Adding in the glitter. Oh my God, so much fun. I feel like this should be a staple, because I'm just thinking of people on stage, in dancing competitions. I mean, for raves, for parties, for everything. Make this permanent. This is so much fun. Makeup doesn't have to be serious. We don't have to look snatched and whatever. We don't have to look powerful. We can look ethereal. We can look like fairies. We can look like a Twilight extra. Like, let us be ridiculous. This is fun. It's so much fun. I love that they're saying it's waterproof as well. So I'm also like, oh, how are we going to get the glitter off? This is going to be so interesting. I really want to know what the story is with the removal of the glitter. Because you know how normally if you've like glitter eyeshadow, you take sellotape and you take off a little bit of the tack and then just pop it over. Is that what you're going to have to do here? I do worry about how much of this is going into the water supply, you know. But also it's fun. So maybe that's why he's made it limited edition, because it's like, oh, we couldn't possibly deal with the environmental impact of this long term. But it's fun. It's fun. And so much of makeup, like makeup has a tendency to take itself very seriously. And at the end of the day, it all washes off. Let's not get too het up on these things. I just enjoy seeing something a little bit different, a little bit fun. I don't hate it. If this wasn't mattifying, because like I said, dry skinned be, I'd think about it. I would, because I'm ridiculous. I really like the idea of this. The next thing I really like the idea of, don't like the price tag of, but that's a totally different situation. This is Haus Labs by Lady Gaga, and it's their Bio Radiant Glossy Balm Highlighter Stick. So it comes in 6 shades for $30. For that $30, you get 0.11 ounces. So 3 milliliters. This is what I'm saying. I don't love the price based upon how much product you're getting. I feel like it's quite pricey. So we're looking at 6 shades. There's Glassy Topaz, which is a golden bronze, Glassy Pink Opal, a rose gold, Glassy Citrine, a yellow gold, Glassy Champagne Quartz, a champagne gold, Glassy Opal, and iridescent pink. And the last one is Pure Glass, which is a clear. It reminds me a little bit of the Ciate London Dewy Sticks, which by the way, bizarre that Ciate London and Lottie London have all kind of gone down. Who would have seen that coming? And I would have seen the Lottie London thing, but I wouldn't have seen the Ciate. I thought Ciate was keeping that going. Anyways, that's not the point. I like the idea of that because I like my Ciate London stick. That's fabulous. Here's the spiel on this. It's a hydrating multi-use highlighter stick. You know, as soon as somebody says it's multi-use, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm interested. With 64% skincare. Now, this has been a thing in Haus Labs since it relaunched. We all remember when you were on Amazon, Lady Gaga. Remember, and that's right. I like to call her Lady Gaga. I like the idea of skincare and things. Is it a bit gimmicky? Yes, but I have skin, so I'll take what I can get. It apparently delivers a long-lasting, ethereal glassy glow, exactly where you want it. This is why we're seeing a lot of C Beauty, K Beauty, etc. kind of filtering in, and I am not against this. So there's sea fennel extract, a bioretinoid that mimics the visible smoothing and fortifying benefits of retinol without irritation. Very interesting to me. So obviously highlighter has a tendency to show where you have your texture due to aging and dry skin, etc. So the fact that there's a bioretinoid, don't hate that. There's wakame extract, which is a marine algae that supports the barrier to protect skin. Again, kind of makes sense. If you have something that's like a bioretinoid, you need something that protects the barrier. Love that. And obviously some hyaluronic acid, because hyaluronic acid is in everything. It's vegan and cruelty free. They say that this glides on ethereal glass skin without disturbing makeup underneath. Love that. Formulated with hyaluronic acid. There's also squalene and marine extract. This serum based highlighter immediately boosts hydration by 59%. The highlighter's slim silhouette makes it easy to add long-lasting glassy radiance anywhere on the face and body. So I do appreciate the fact that the actual applicator is very small, because obviously sometimes you want to put highlighter on, say for instance, your little schnoz, nobody of the nose. Love that. But obviously you can put it onto larger areas, etc. I like this. I think this is very, very smart. My issue, as I said before, is just the amount of product that you're getting for the price. And I think this is probably because they made a boo-boo back when they came out with their blushes initially. They put a lot of product in the initial blushes, and then they came out with them again, but they made them much smaller but for the same price, because they were like, oh, we realized that we were selling it for too little and that we were making a bit of a loss. And it's like, oh, for goodness sake. I think they're almost like overcompensating for at this point. I do like the look of this though. The fact that they're saying like it helps with hydration, it helps with luminosity, like, oh, I love these. I do. Yeah, I love anything that's giving a little bit of a glassy skin. Could I choose which one I want? Oh, don't make me choose. It's Sophie's choice. I think probably the one that would suit me the best would probably be glassy opal, just based upon my own skin tone, but it really does give you quite a wet look. Probably when I'm looking at each of these and looking at them on the skin, it doesn't look like there's a huge difference initially between them. Like you have to kind of really intensely look to see what the difference is. It shows up better on deeper skin tones as to what the undertones are here. Like if there's more of an orange, if there's more of a pink, if there's more of a gold. Whereas on the fairer skin tones, it isn't kind of showing up to the same amount. Which I do, again, obviously appreciate the fact that they're showing this across a couple of different skin tones. Yeah, I think I want maybe the glassy opal, but I want to swatch this and see what the story is. Now, the only place that I can do that is if I go back to the UK, to Sephora in Newcastle, when I go over and annoy my friend Daniela. So Daniela, that's our next play date. We're gonna go to Sephora and you're gonna let me swatch some things onto my face, or I'll just ask you to swatch them. We'll figure it out. I like this. Don't love the price tag, but I suppose if it's like a cream based product, you probably will be there for like a million years with it. So maybe it's okay. Do you know what? Haus Labs has been doing well. They've been doing some really interesting things. And I don't really hear many people say anything negative about it, which in and of itself, very interesting. Now, you do have to take that with a little bit of a pinch of salt of there are people who get very like, maybe if I'm extra nice about things, I'll get onto PR, or they're just getting all up in there. But I will say anything I do have, I really genuinely enjoy. Do I think it's changed the world? No, but it works for me. And frankly, that's all I need in makeup. This next one, this is another kind of K-beauty thing. This is rom&nd, and this is coming out sometime in March. They haven't given an exact date. It's a new shade for their Juicy Lasting Tint line in number 25. It's Blackberry. So it includes essentially a Blur Fudge Tint 19 Licorice Jelly, a Lip Matte Pencil, a mini, a 01 black shade, and obviously then that lasting tint in Blackberry. A part of where this came out from was was a couple of months ago they did an in-app square, sort of a collab line, and there looked to be something that was very black toned in it, but it wasn't, and people were quite disappointed. So it seems like the brand listened to people, and this is what occurred. It looks fabulous. Now this is apparently going to be available to purchase first via their US TikTok shop. So if you're in the US and you're into the old TikTok, that's how you're going to get it. I really like the look of this. This is fun. I also want some blackberries. I think though, and I'm going to say this, the black tint is probably not as black as I would like it to be. It's a little bit more grey. Nothing wrong with that, but a little bit more grey probably than I would have personally liked. But I'm liking the look of some of these things. This is literally, I don't know a lot about what's happening here. I like the idea of that lip matte pencil, the black one, and the tints. Yeah, I think this is very, very interesting. I don't have a lot more info on this. I don't even know the pricing, don't know the date that it's coming out. So as per usual, I'm utterly useless. But I do think that this is something to look out for. This will make me look like I'm a corpse, and I don't hate that. So I already feel like I'm dead inside, so my outside might as well match my insides. It's quite cool. I also really want blackberries now. Oh, that's so unusual for me. But I now want some fruit. Very strange. I talked about this 2 weeks ago in terms of a sneak peek, and it's out right now. It's the NYX Buttermelt highlighters, and there's 8 shades. They're $12 each. They've kind of extended on their Buttermelt thing. It's a multi-dimensional glow. Some of these have more of like a multi-chrome holographic thing, and yeah, they've said like there's nourishing ingredients like mango butter, shea butter, almond butter, all that sort of thing, 12-hour wear, blah blah blah. They've gone for some very unusual shades. Like there's a green and a purple in there, which is honestly a lot of fun to me, and then they've kind of introduced some more kind of everyday shades. So I'm going to go through some of the everyday shades first. So I will say, and I do appreciate the fact that they're not retouching their photograph. I think more brands need to be doing that and really showing that. And it does show that it's picking up some texture. That's not a bad thing. That's just what highlighters do. I appreciate the fact that they're letting people make more informed choices on this. I said this last week. I said this last fortnight. Oh my God. I hate the packaging. I think it cheapens it. And yes, I know it's $12. It's not like it's expensive, but they're not doing themselves any wild favors there. The green is so weird looking, I will say. It doesn't look fantastic on a deeper skin tone, probably just due to undertones etc. at play. So I do find it helpful that they've shown it on the face. Yes, they showed the swatches on the arm, but can we give them kudos for showing it on the face? Yes. Well done, NYX. Some higher brands or higher price brands don't do that, so well done. I like the pink one. I think that looks really pretty. It's like a little blushy moment. Very, very nice. Obviously they've shown it built up on some models more so than others. Then we've more of the goldy tones. Again, nothing massive there. It is picking up on texture. It just is what it is. That's what it does. You know what's interesting though? The purple one. I was over on NYX's website there last night and they're totally sold out of that one. So that one seems to be very, very popular. And I'm not wildly surprised because that one is kind of the most glass skin-esque type one. And for $12, it's not bad. In all, what do I think of this? I don't think it's bad. I love the fact that we have drugstore makeup. I think it's such a necessary thing because as much as I love a bit of high end, not everyone can necessarily get that. And this is pretty good. They're marketing their stuff realistically. They're not trying to lie to you or get one over on you of saying this is what it looks like. Oh my God, your looks so airbrushed. No, they're showing you what it looks like. Can we just say, thank goodness for showing real skin. Let's effing normalize that. I like the look of these. I don't think I need them. I definitely don't. Let me revise that. I definitely don't because I have enough stuff. But this is wonderful for people who are starting off on their makeup journey. NYX don't always do the most interesting things, but my God, are they pretty damn good quality for the price. So I'm not going to hate on them. My major kind of critique here is actually just more the packaging. And that's such a superficial thing, but whatever. It's grand. Price tag, fantastic. By the time it gets over here, it's going to be a bit more expensive. That's just the nuts and bolts of it. It'll probably be like €18 by the time it gets over here. But I still feel like that's an okay price for what we're looking at. so I don't hate it. We then have MAC Cosmetics, and this is their Strobe Cream Liquid Blush. It's $30 and it comes in 10 shades. Before I talk about the 10 shades, I want to just say about 2 to 3 years ago, I remember talking about MAC, and for those of you who've watched me for a few years, you will know that what I'm saying here is true. I was saying at the time that I felt a bit frustrated because it felt like they were dated and they weren't really moving on with things, and we weren't seeing a lot of like interesting things from them, which was frustrating considering they're such good quality. And can I just say, what they have done in the last year and a half has been incredible. They've really brought the brand back. I mean, there've been a few things that I've been like, I'm not really sure on this, but this brand in my mind is such a great little comeback, and I am here for it. I'm loving it. Fabulous. Anyways, we have our Strobe Cream Liquid Blush. They're the 10 shades, and it's obviously coming from the Strobe line. The Strobe Cream would have been very, very popular for years. It would have been in a lot of MAC makeup artists' kit. So there's 10 shades. Good Vibes is a deep fuchsia with multi-pearl. Starlight is a rose gold with shimmer. Lavalite is a deep neutral orange with gold pearl. Unsweetened is a mid-tone reddish mauve. Magic Aura is a deep lavender with iridescent blue pearl. Apricot Jelly is a bright orange with gold pearl. Nightlight is a dirty cool mauve with pink pearl. Lightning is light beige with gold shimmer. Ice Gleam is a cool tone pink with gold pearl. And Plummy Bear is deep cherry wine. So they basically have it so that there's 4 kind of like warm kind of shades, and then 4 kind of berry tone shades, and then 2 very neutral sort of shades that are more functioning as sort of a highlighter. And I have to say, this is very, very pretty. I can see where they can extend on this, like absolutely. Can I just say though, I have become a little bit of a MAC fiend. I'm really loving their formula. I feel like it wears really well on me, doesn't show up any of my texture. And even though I have historically said liquid blushes, I'm a bit nervous of them because they show up my texture, I am intrigued by this. I'm not going to go off and buy it, but I'm going to go off and swatch it and see what the story is here, because this is very nice. And it does look like it's a multi-use product, so I'm not against it. And I mean, even seeing it on the skin, they've shown it like across various models. It looks so beautiful, so natural, absolutely gorgeous, and you can see how it can be built up to various levels of intensity. Like, I'm going to go through each of those shades. The shade Good Vibes, I do think it's interesting that they've said that there's pearlescent particles in them, and I think that's probably what's giving it that little bit of the skin-like feel, that it's reflecting the light. It looks stunning. Absolutely love it. The Starlight, that's a little bit more of like a highlighter thing. I'm loving that it seems to be working across several skin tones. Oh, I'm livid. Beautiful. Lava Light. Oh, I'm getting a bit upset because I kind of want all of them, but I know I don't need them. So somebody speak with me here. I don't need it. I don't, but it looks absolutely gorgeous. So, so beautiful. The shade Unsweetened. What's interesting about this one is they didn't say that this had any sort of light reflecting pearls in it in the description, but it does seem to kind of catch the light quite well. This is almost like that sunburnt look, which I personally quite like. I think it looks beautiful. Even that shade Magic Aura. Oh my god. Stunning, stunning. It's kind of reminding me a little bit of like the Half Magic vibes, and I say that with obviously the greatest of compliments. Apricot Jelly, beautiful. Obviously you wouldn't need that if you've the other deeper shade, but this is stunning. Nightlight, the dirty cool mauve. Shut up. I love that sort of a shade. I gravitate towards that. It reminds me a little bit of liquid form of Wella by Benefit. Stunning. Absolutely love that. Lightning is much more of a gold. I know they're saying light beige with gold shimmer, but it feels more like it's a gold than a beige, which is fine. It's just a strange description for it. Ice Gleam. Oh my god. I love this. I feel like that would work beautifully on my skin tone. Yes, I am thinking about me. Sorry, this is my channel. It's what I do. And Plummy Bear. Oh my god. It's beautiful. I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed. I love this. I love it. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. I am for sure intrigued. I might go in one of the days to Dublin to like not Brown Thomas, although they do MAC in Brown Thomas, but maybe out to the boots in Liffey Valley and have a little look to see if they have any of those, because I want to swatch these, see what it's like, how they're picking up on the texture. I'm trying to think of the last time that I had a MAC thing over the last year that I got that I wasn't really vibing with. And I genuinely can't think of anything. I've got a lot of MAC stuff recently and I really I'm so enthusiastic about it. The way that they have brought this brand back, starting to be more relevant again, I'm all for it. And in addition to that, they've also revitalized their strobe creams, and they've got 4 shades out. There's 5 shades technically, but the 5th shade is like the old packaging, etc. So I'm just going to talk about the 4 shades that are part of this new launch. They're $39 each. The 4 shades are Pink Light, which is an original pearlescent pink. UV Light is a cool pearlescent violet. Bronze Light is a warm pearlescent copper. And Gold Light is a warm pearlescent gold. This is a radiant moisturizer that boosts the look of dull skin and illuminates with iridescent particles. This was one of those funny products. Like I said, it was in a lot of MAC MUA's toolkit for a period of time, and it was kind of like a multi-use product. Sometimes people would use it as primer, sometimes they'd use it as a highlighter because there was a moisturizer and stuff in it. Really interesting. So they say it's an ultimate quick fix for skin, now in shades of pink, which was the original shade, along with Peach Light. Peach Light was another one that they had, but they now have Peach Silver, Red and Gold. Our strobing moisturizer, super powered with potent botanicals, nutritious vitamins and a mega dose of green tea, boosts tired looking skin. This luminous moisturizer, doubling as a liquid highlighter, brightens and clarifies your look with iridescent particles, adds the softest glow to skin whether you're in the sunlight or spotlight. So the benefits are that it smooths skins, improves clarity, provides radiance, it's hydrating and it's non-acnegenic. It reminds me a little bit of, you know, the Glow Recipe niacinamide drops. So it's a little bit like that. Like, yeah, you could use it as like a highlighter, but you could also use it as like your daily moisturizer. They've obviously swatched it on the kind of arm to show you the undertones of them, but they've shown it on the skin. You guys know how I feel about that. Let's talk about Pink Light. Ooh, it's so pretty. So obviously you can see there it's given like a very natural, dewy sort of a look to the skin, which I'm personally all about. Even the shade UV Light, you can see that little touch of purple. It kind of shows a little bit better on the deeper skin tone. Absolutely stunning. Then the shade Bronze Light, which is more of a copper. I personally couldn't get away with that. I'm too pink toned leaning, but obviously they're showing it on the appropriate models. Absolutely stunning. And Gold Light. I mean, what can I say? I think this is it's a fun product. It's them revitalizing this thing that has been part of their kit for years, but bringing it into 2025. And this is part of what I've wanted to see MAC do for quite some time. And they have been doing it. They've been bringing back original stuff that is now relevant again. You know, their nude lipsticks, they're bringing those back. They're bringing these back because people want to have fairly minimal base, but they want to have that glow. This is just so smart. It's of the time. This is when to do it. And MAC know how to do it really, really well. Like, whatever you want to say about them, they do some pretty damn good makeup products. And they're very accessible to a lot of people, right? Most people can find MAC close to them, or they've a retailer near them that can distribute it. Yeah, I love the new packaging as well. It looks really, really pretty. I don't need this. I know I don't, so it's not on my list right now. I just like seeing MAC kind of coming back and doing their own thing. It's joyful to me, essentially. Moira Cosmetics have also released some Prism Pop Pigments. They're 8 shades, they're €15.95 each. For that money, you're getting 0.27 fluid ounces, so that's 8 ml. Pretty darn good value. Those 8 shades come in Sugar Plum, Happy Hollow, Frosted Fantasy, Cuddle Cloud, Bubbly Bliss, Hollow Flash, Minty Mirage, and Shooting Star. And as part of their whole thing, it's available right now, by the way, they say get ready to shine with Prism Pop Pigment, the ultimate smudge-proof and crease-free cream shadow. Available in dazzling metallic and dual chrome shades, this buildable formula delivers high intensity colour that lasts all day. Now, for me, 8 shades feels like a very limited line, but I suspect that they'll end up adding to this. This is very, very smart. And Moira have kind of been kind of shuffling along in the background, doing their own thing, doing a lot of very artistic stuff. It feels a little bit more like they're heading in the direction of a more affordable Danessa Myricks. And Danessa Myricks actually has literally those cream products that are in not quite similar packaging, but you know, same thing, but much more expensive. And this feels like it's and I don't want to say dupe, I hate that, but it feels like it's very much inspired by Denona Myricks, but it is at a more affordable price point for a lot of people. Fantastic for people who are, again, kind of starting off in their makeup journey. They want to have something a little bit different. Some of these are duochrome, some of them are more metallic. It's the same as what we would see with Denona Myricks. I think the price point is really, really nice. Now, they've swatched it on the arm. Personally, don't feel like that does any sort of justice to them, but they have shown it on the eye, which is much more helpful. So let's go through each of those. There's Sugar Plum. Now, do you remember when I was saying that Natasha Denona had a shade and she was like, oh, Equinox, it's so different? This is what that shade looks like. Or, well, not quite exactly, but it's quite similar. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, Natasha, you're not really reinventing the wheel. Now, granted, this isn't cheaper, like it's €16, but it would work out as being cheaper. You're getting a lot more product. So I'm just saying, if you're interested, that's the story. It looks beautiful, absolutely stunning. It's the sort of shade that we've seen a couple of times over, but hey, it's a new format, why not? The shade Happy Hollow, that is beautiful. And obviously with this sort of a pigment, you could use it as an eyeshadow, you could use it as a liner, you could probably fade it out, use it as like a highlighter, etc. There's a couple of different things that you could use that for. The shade Frosted Fantasy, that's more of like a metallic sort of a formula, but my goodness, how much fun does that look? Granted, making a silver is fairly straightforward. You can get a lot of decent silver formulas in an eyeshadow at a fairly minimal price point, but this is a cream one, so this is quite interesting. Even the shade Cuddle Cloud, that's not bad. I will say it's probably my least favorite. However, I feel that this obviously could be used as a highlighter very, very easily, depending upon, you know, your skin tone, etc. So obviously these are multi-use products, and I'm here for that. The shade Bubbly Bliss, I love that. I think it looks like so much fun. Again, you could use that as like a highlighter, you could use it as a blush, you could use it as liners, etc. The shade Hollow Flash, I think I have seen stuff like this from Denona, and I would personally go with this a little bit quicker because of the price point. I reckon if you put a little bit of like a black shadow on top of this, it would really help it like pop that little bit more. This is going to be so fun for like a really rocky, gothy sort of a look. It's just fun, really. Then Minty Mirage. I will say it does look like it's kind of separating in some places, that you're not getting the full opacity. So I'll be interested to see what the story is there. Maybe they needed to have a better base. You know, like, yes, I know it's a cream shadow, but sometimes it helps to have a good base underneath just to help it all kind of come together. I would say that with the previous shade as well, if they put like a black base, it would really help it pop that little bit more. And the final shade, Shooting Star, we've seen a lot of shades like this before. It's that kind of blue to purple sort of a shift. It's not going to break the world, but it's a nice one. It's very Ziggy Stardust, and I personally quite enjoy that. I like Moira Cosmetics. I do. I have a lot of their stuff. Personally, my favourite stuff from them is actually their duochrome liners. I think they're absolutely fantastic, and not enough people talk about them. I did recently find out that they're sold on Cloud 10 Beauty, which is available here in Ireland, and I think they ship to the UK. So that was very exciting to me, and I may have done an order. Shh, don't judge me. I was very excited. So you're just going to have to kind of go along with it. Is this something that I need? No. I have a lot of my Denona Myricks pigments that are like this, the kind of cream toned ones. But this is perfection, I think, for MUAs, because this is an alternative that is less expensive. Moira has kind of shown over the last number of years that their stuff is very high quality. So it's not like, oh, I'm paying cheaper, but I'm not getting a decent quality. Yeah, you're still getting a pretty damn good quality for it. So this would be particularly good for starting off MUAs, you know, and you're getting a good amount of product, like 8 mils. That's going to do you quite a bit. And it does look like they're nice and travel friendly, that you can just pop them into your case and be done. Love the look of this. I also suspect, and I didn't see it when I was over on their website, but they normally take a few days to do this. I suspect that they'll put a bundle together on this. So even though they're €15.95 each, I wouldn't be surprised if they put a bundle of all of the 8 of them together, because they usually do that, but it takes them a few days. I don't hate this. It's just not one for me right now. I don't need it, but I totally see the place for this. Then we have Fenty Skin, and this is their Cherry Dub BHA toner with salicylic acid and aloe juice. €33. It's 150 mils. It's not available yet, but it's going to be available in a few days. It's a gentle BHA packed toner that purifies, refines and improves the look of pores. Perfect for oily and combination skin types. So here's the thing, right? Yes, I know I have dry skin type, but I tend to use BHA quite a bit because I am extremely acne prone. I've had like a really bad breakout of cystic acne recently, and the idea of this having BHA and salicylic acid, yes please and thank you. I'm very interested in that. I don't have a massive amount of Fenty Skin stuff, but I have some. Actually, I have one here. This is my Fenty Skin Fat Water. Can you tell how much I like this? Can you? It's pretty well loved. So I'm interested in this. They're also saying that this reduces surface oil instantly and all day. So it's that instant effect, but also it'll give you that long-term sort of, not solution, but long-term relief that you're looking for. Triple cherry complex instantly brightens, clarifies and renews skin. Lightweight liquid formula absorbs instantly. It leaves skin feeling fresh and soft, not stripped or dry, which I like. It's infused with a juicy Barbados cherry inspired scent. Oh my god. If something is cherry scented, I lose my mind. I love cherry. Oh my god. I actually had a brand recently send me a cherry scented perfume and I have been loving it. But I'm obsessed with cherry. So I am for sure interested in this. They then go on to say in a 4-week clinical study on 52 people, it instantly reduced surface oil, it improved skin's brightness, improved the look of pores, improves skin's moisture barrier, hydrates all day and reduces surface oil. And after 1 week, they found that it reduced surface oil, improved brightness and improved the look of pores. And over time, so after 4 weeks, it improved skin brightness by 32%. Now, I'm not sure how they're measuring skin brightness, but the thing around reducing surface oil is a little bit more concrete to me because that's something that I can understand how that could be measured. This is very interesting to me. Even the ingredients that they have in there, the triple cherry complex, the willow bark extract, that'll help to purify and clarify. BHAs, I'm all about them. There's one that I have from pharmacy that I've been really enjoying. Zinc PCA, that's interesting. The aloe juice, I really like the idea of that. That's like for soothing and conditioning the skin. Yeah, they've even shown how it is like on acne prone skin. So I really appreciate that because like I said, I have extremely acne prone skin. Everyone in my family does. It's cystic acne is a whole thing. But I generally have it under pretty good control with appropriate skincare. But this, yeah. It sounds interesting to me. Yes, €33 is expensive. But I am the sort that I don't mind paying a bit more for skincare, and it's probably because my skin is a bit fluctuating is the way that I would describe it. Yeah, this is on my list. I think maybe once I've finished the current BHA toner that I have, and I have a few backups of that. So maybe once I've done that, because I have to be smart and not be a silly goose, maybe once I've finished up my backups, I'll try this. Now that'll take a while because I'm silly, and once I have something that I really like, I'm like, wee, go off and buy it, because I wait and get them on sales. It's a whole thing. But I do like the idea of this. It appeals to me. We then have SHEGLAM, and this is their Colour Bloom Liquid Blush. And yes, we have seen this before. However, this is a shade extension. We have 6 new shades. They're €5.75 each. We have Lilac Dream, which is a pale blue to lavender. Pink Slip, which is a light baby pink. Candy Apple, a vibrant red. Fine Wine, a deep brick red. Coral Glow, a pale peach. And On Call, which is a warm coral. Obviously, price point is fantastic. They've shown it swatched next to their existing line. So shades 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 are the new ones, in case you're wondering. But they've also shown it in terms of its colour grouping, like is it warm and neutral toned pink, is it pink and purple, nudes and oranges, is it red? So that's very helpful to kind of give you a better overview of these. My major issue with when they're showing this is they do show it on the face, but they have all these watermarks, and that drives me absolutely nuts because I hate looking at watermarks. Lilac Dream, let's talk about that first. How gorgeous does that look? It looks beautiful on the skin. I so appreciate really see it that they showed it there. €5.75. I'm not unhappy about it. Pink Slip. I love that shade. I really love a pink blush. And I love that sort of a shade of a pink blush. Like, I love baby pinks. And I feel like they really suit me. You're probably sitting there going, Teresa, no, it looks terrible on you. I don't care about your opinion. I care about mine. Candy Apple is again giving me that sort of like sunburnt look, and I love it. I really think that's beautiful. Fine Wine is gorgeous. There's almost like a neutralness to that, which I just find super appealing. Coral Glow is quite nice. I would have expected more of an actual glow. Like, I'm surprised this is part of their matte. They've called it Coral Glow. I know that's just a semantic thing, but to me, I was just a little bit surprised by that. And then the final shade that they have is On Call. Now, I don't feel that they necessarily needed to have the shade On Call. It feels a little bit repetitive to other things that they have in their repertoire. I mean, they're very, very inexpensive. SHEGLAM actually does pretty good quality. I love the fact that we have brands that are more accessible in price point for people. You know, it's important that people can actually afford to get these things. I'm personally not going to be getting any of these for the moment. I simply don't need them. So I need to just be a little bit more clever about these things. But it's not a bad one. Like €5.75. Like, who's going to get annoyed about those? And yes, I've said before, I'm not a wild fan of liquid blushes, but the ones that I do have from them, I quite like. I like the formula of them. So it's not a bad one. We're now on to sneak peeks, and as I'm showing you this one, the location will have been revealed. This is Nomad Cosmetics. It's their new palette, so I don't know what it's called yet. The destination reveal is coming on Friday. The colour story reveal is as you're watching on Saturday, and the launch date is Tuesday, March 11th at around 12:01 AM EST. Right. You'll know what it is that I'm going to say here. Too many launches from them, and I love Nomad. I think they're absolutely fantastic. I love the quality of their stuff. I think the colour stories are fabulous, and this looks like fun. It absolutely does. However, it's too many palettes. Too many palettes. Is this the second one from them so far this year? We're into March. That's a lot. Like, you can't be coming out with a palette every 2 months. That's excessive. You know, like. Maybe it's just me. Now, I do like the colours that they've shown. They look really sparkly, really pretty. That kind of blue shimmery thing. Gorgeous. Even the green is kind of getting me. That being said, I think I could probably look through my Nomad collection and get some shades that are similar-esque. Again, I'm not saying duping them, but I think like even in my Iceland palette, I could get a few shades like this. And to be fair, in the videos that they've shown, they look absolutely gorgeous. I'll show you those videos right now. And they've gone with this whole kind of like fairy kingdom thing. So I guess they're going with like a Cinderella-esque sort of thing, inspired by like, you know, the fairy tales of Europe. Loved that idea. Can I be honest though? I feel like that would have made a little bit more sense as like maybe a Christmas palette, you know, coming into Christmas. I mean, the colours are beautiful. Looks really, really nice. I just think too many launches. I've gotten a bit overwhelmed, and I love them as a brand, but I need them to slow down. The very last sneak peek that we're looking at is Wicked Widow Beauty, and this is a 25th anniversary collection, and it's of American Psycho. It feels very timely. That's all I can say. It feels very timely. Patrick Bateman, etc. This is interesting to me. Wicked Widow Beauty have gotten some really interesting collabs in the last 2 years or so, and I will say every time that they've gotten a collab, they've done it really, really well. So I am very interested to see where they're going with this. I don't know how they're going to incorporate the plastic raincoat and the hatchet, but I want it in there. I don't know why, but I want it in there because that's the funniest scene to me. I am intrigued. I think this will be done very, very well, and I can't wait to see what the story is. But my gorgeous friends, that is it. That is the whole video, and it is a little bit longer simply because I had 2 weeks to catch up on. You can hear my voice is still a little bit like I feel like I still have something caught here. It's really weird. Anyways, that's not the point. I do have my favourite comment, and this is from the gorgeous Clary Pack, who said, Jeebus crust. I need all of the pencils and setting powders a pox on my creative arse. Can I just say, I got the pencils from Glisten Cosmetics. How the fuck are they that creamy for that price? I will say my friend Daniela got the pencils too, and initially she seemed to have gotten a bad batch because they were weird and waxy, but then they replaced them. very, very quickly, and they were much better. But I'm very excited by them. I didn't get the setting powders because I was like, come on now, you silly goose. But I did realise I could use them as blushes as well. But I'm being smart on that. Now, I haven't actually filmed a swatching Sundays yet because my life is a little bit chaotic at the moment. Don't ask. But if I have, there will be one. If I haven't, there won't be one. Ooh, so we're having a little bit of a Schrodinger's swatching Sundays sort of a situation. There might be one, but also might not be one. We'll see what the story is. But I will try and do one, but I am trying to get back to more regular filming and hoping that my immune system doesn't try to take me out again. And if it does try to take me out, it should really bring me out for dinner, quite frankly. It's very upsetting. But my gorgeous friends, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Do please like, comment and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell simply because it's polite. And do please share, because sharing is caring. Except of course for STDs, in which case, wrap it up. Don't be gross. But that's it. That's the end of this video. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.